How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, this video is going to be about flags. You know, kind of like this one right here, right? One nation, one flag. That's what we're told, right? Sure. This flag right here represents the United States of America. And there are people out there who think that should be the only flag in this country. And I would say that they're right in the sense that it should be the only flag that represents the country as a whole, right? I would agree with them in the sense that that flag should not be defaced in any way. Yes, I understand I did a burning video not that long ago, and I make no apologies for that because of the reason behind it. And, you know, I don't believe, however, that we should, as a rule, be violating the U.S. flag code. You know, for example, putting a politician's face on it, or having said politician actually sign his name on one while claiming that he respects it. Yeah, I know, I burned one, right? I get it. So you might think I'm a little bit of a hypocrite on this, and maybe I am. But I burned it in response to an illegal and unconstitutional executive order, which I think the Constitution is much more important than a flag. Okay? Because the flag is just a symbol. The Constitution actually means something. That's our values as a nation, right? And that's why it's been amended 27 times. One country, one flag. One nation, one flag. Yeah. You know what people say that about, though? They say that whenever they see the LGBTQ flags, you know, the rainbow for the gay community and the trans flag, you know, with the pink and the blue and the white, the flags with the black and brown triangle to one side, you know, or any flag that doesn't look like that, right? And all right, I understand where you're coming from, but they're not pretending to represent a nation. They are representing that community. Right? So, I want to hear that same rhetoric when you bastardize this flag right back here and put the thin blue line on it. I want to hear the same rhetoric. I want to hear that same rhetoric whenever you see a state's flag. I mean, I'm in Iowa, where our state flag is, well, you might as well just say it's the French flag with an eagle holding a banner that says our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain. Meanwhile, our state government is robbing people of their liberties and their rights. You know, or the California flag that's got the bear on it, right? And, you know, there are multiple iterations of that flag. Also, I don't want to see you people waving that that red, white, and blue flag with the cross on it, with the stars that go each direction. You know which one I'm talking about. The Yeehaw flag. The one that, if you've ever seen the Dukes of Hazzard, the one that's on top of their car. Right? I don't want to see you waving that flag. Of course, to me, that flag represents traitors and losers. Y'all lost the war. Get over it. It's been 160 years. I don't want to see you waving the flags that have the swastikas on them, or that represent the Proud Boys. Interesting that they call themselves the Proud Boys while opposing the Pride flag. Interesting, huh? Show me on the doll where the pretty colors hurt you. Show me on the doll. One nation, one flag. Don't bastardize this one if that's what you're going to do. You know what? Take down those MAGA flags if you believe in one nation, one flag. You know, there are people in my state who are flying the state flag, which, great, no problem with that. In fact, I've even seen the Norwegian flag flying on flagpoles in this town. Actually, if you've seen some of my previous videos where I was recording inside, you would have maybe seen the Norwegian and the Finnish flags. And, well, the reason for that, though, is my wife has recently been to those countries. But, you know, you want to complain about people who come here from other countries who wave their country's flags, right? Wave the flags of the countries where they came from. And I understand the thinking of, well, if that country was so bad that you came here, why do you want to bring that flag with you? Maybe they didn't hate their country. Maybe they just came here for opportunities that, by the way, are less and less available, shall we say. But, nah, we don't look at nuances, do we? What good is a nuance, right? So, one nation, one flag. Go ahead and take down that flag with the guy's face on it, or that makes him look like Rambo when, come on, really? He has never looked like that. Plus, if he was such a badass, don't you think he would have gone to Vietnam when his number was called? Don't you think he would have done that? Meanwhile, I've always wanted a Purple Heart. Bullshit, nobody wants a Purple Heart. Nobody wants it. I mean, we joke that it's the enemy's marksmanship badge, because you have to be wounded or killed in action to get it. Nobody wants that. So, take down those flags. Take down your state flag. Cities have flags. Take down your city flags if you have one. Take down that thin blue line flag. If you expect to not see the pretty colors, then don't you think and you don't want to see the pretty colors on the basis of one nation, one flag. That's your argument, right? So, if one nation, one flag is why you don't like the pretty colors, why don't we just take down all flags that don't look like that one, right? All of them. Every single one, right? One nation, one flag, right? You know, you want to fly that flag and say, this is my pride flag. Fair enough. Fair enough. But if you're using that flag to hate people and to demonize them and to otherize them and to strip rights away from them or not allow them to have rights that they haven't had previously, then you don't really believe in what that flag is supposed to stand for anyway, now do you? Really? Because I remember saying the Pledge of Allegiance when I was in school every day. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Take in those last words, with liberty and justice for all. All. That means everyone. Every single one of us. That doesn't mean that, pre-civil rights movement, that it was okay for us to demonize and otherize and marginalize the black community. In the 1940s, during World War II, we rounded up and encamped and placed in camps Japanese Americans. That's right, Americans. Not Japanese people in the United States, Japanese Americans. Did we do the same thing with German Americans? Italian Americans? Nope. Nope, just the Japanese Americans. And now we have, other people with darker skin that... Actually, let's go back, but before I get to that, let's go back to, the original group that we attacked in this country, the natives who were here when white people showed up, drove them off of their lands, drove them from their homes in the Carolinas and Tennessee and, down in that general area, drove them to Oklahoma. Never mind that they'd been on that land for centuries. In that specific area for centuries. But yeah, we can pass things like the Indian Removal Act in order to drive them from their homes and move them to a place like Oklahoma. And I'm not hating on Oklahoma. I think it's a nice place. But it's not the same as where these people were from, where they lived. I mean, people from Oklahoma, think about this, right? If somebody forced you out of your state and took you, if they forced you to go to some place that you love your state of Oklahoma, what if somebody forces you out of there? Maybe they want to drive you into Texas, or they want to drive you to pick a place that you don't want to be. Maybe they want to drive you into, say, a city like Chicago or Los Angeles, or, pick a big city. Wouldn't that basically be the same thing? Then let's not forget that our first immigration law our first immigration laws were deliberately exclusionary based on race. You don't believe me? There's one that's called the Chinese Exclusion Act. Chinese Exclusion Act, which means, what's that? You're from China? No. No. And by the way, this is before communism took over in China. This is like late 19th, early 20th century. Chinese exclusion. Now let's look at what's happening with largely Latin Americans, but pretty much anyone with dark skin, to include some of the natives, you know, like the Navajo and the Apache, you know, because of the part of the United States that they're from and the fact that they have darker skin. You know, they are assumed to be Latinos. Nonsense. And now we want to treat other people differently because of their sexuality or because the way their brain is wired, their body doesn't line up with who they actually are. Right? So you want to say one nation, one flag as a means of prohibiting other flags while at the same time flying other flags. Oh, the Gadsden flag. That's another one. Gadsden. Don't tread on me, right? Yeah, you like to say don't tread on me, but you're not afraid to tread on thee, right? Tread on thee, not on me. That's what you really mean. How about don't tread on anyone? One nation, one flag? Yeah, be kind of nice, wouldn't it? Stop being a hypocrite about it. I'll see you next time.